Napa know-how.
The Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how. We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 306 of the New York Knicks podcast.
Jay, did you get the package I sent you?
No. What'd you send me?
I sent you a book.
Oh.
You did not get it from... I ordered it on Amazon. I sent it to you. It's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
Are you
I want
weak?
you to read it, and then you will understand podcasting for the Knicks better.
Mark, I think you're a weak leader.
No, this is... I'm sending you a book. Read the book. It's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I'll send you Catcher in the Rye also.
What good has ever come from giving books to people? Ever.
No, reading, if you... Listen, I understand if you give an NBA player a book, it means that you're giving up on the season.
Yeah, it means you're a total weak leader. Nobody's ever won 11 championships from doing that.
I'm going to get so mad because Stephen A. Smith said, how could Derek Fisher give the team a book? It's hard to get worked up over a dumb story.
Yeah.
What book did Derek Fisher give the club?
He gave each player a different book, which is just like what Phil Jackson used to do.
What books do you think the last year's team would have gotten? J.R. Smith gets, Coach, I know you think I'm kind of an idiot, but C-Spot Run, I can read.
Fun with Dick and Jane. Maybe he got something like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Do you think...
I don't know if JR could understand that book, though.
Would you give Ron Artest War and Peace? Get it?
Or Fight Club?
Yeah. Is it weird that Derek Fisher, the book he handed out, was the book about Linsanity?
We'll always have
This
Linsanity.
is the last time things were good here.
Maybe he just gave everybody 11 rings.
Gave everyone 11 rings. So what book do you think he gave Carmelo?
It's some child's book on sharing.
Passing makes the world go round.
Yeah, it was definitely something about sharing.
Amari didn't Amari write a kid's book?
Yeah, I think he did.
Do you think they handed that book out?
No.
Do you think anyone tried to trade their book, but like, hey, Derek, can I get something I actually want to read?
So Stephen A. Smith, if you didn't hear, completely went off on Derek Fisher, saying he was a weak leader, or it made him look weak that he gave books to his players. And you might recall that Phil Jackson used to give a different book to each of his players during his 11 championship seasons.
Right, he's a weak leader because he's trying to copy one of the great coaches of all time. You don't do that. If you're a real leader, you go off on your own. He should have gave them all 8-track cassettes.
Yeah, you got to be original.
He should have said, hey, here's a mix-up tape I made for you of love songs. Yeah, Mello. Get into the groove with Good Vibrations by Marky Mark. Hey, Jose Calderon, here is the best of Pink. That's what he could have done.
I'm kind of thinking it's more like, hey, I'm out of material because it's summer and we're not as creative as Marc and Jay, so I'm just going to start complaining about random stuff.
I guarantee this is how the rant went. He goes, hey, I'm going to go. Don't even tell me the story. Just tell me I'm going to get on the air, what happened, and I'm just going to go off on it. Doesn't matter what the story's about.
I will just take an outrageous point of view.
An outrageous. The Knicks changed dry cleaners for their uniforms. What kind of ball club changes dry cleaners mid-off season?
The unmitigated gall.
It is absurd. It is. Derek Fisher should just commit suicide right now. That would be. He should go to the middle of Madison Square Garden and stab himself with a knife and go. This is what happens when you change dry cleaners mid-off season.
So ESPN has jumped the shark.
Willie Hernaga Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
He made the Spanish national team.
Cool.
Only reason I'm excited about that is I forgot he was on the team that the Knicks drafted him. And I was like, oh, yeah, we have another guy that we're storing in Spain.
We have reinforcements.
I hope he's good. If I saw that story anywhere else, I saw it on a Knicks blog. If I saw it anywhere else, I would have assumed he was not a Knick.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know this has been a running off-season story, but Jose Calderon is probably not going to be traded until the season starts, and probably a while into the season, if ever.
True. There's been rumors that the Knicks are interested in Jamal Crawford. The Knicks literally can only trade Calderon and Early. So that would be the trade. It would be Crawford and Wilcox for Calderon and Early.
I saw a story. I clicked on the story, and the first comment was like, "Knicks also interested in LeBron."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who cares?
I mean, do you think the Clippers would even want Calderon and Early for Crawford?
First of all, forgetting me early, do you even is Crawford much of an upgrade over Calderon? Crawford's not a bad scorer. But Calderon should be healthy this year. He's a pretty good shooter. He's probably a better shooter than Crawford.
They're both the worst on defense.
Yeah, it doesn't make much of a difference in the team.
And Calderon's probably more consistent. Crawford's really streaky.
Calderon's a better passer.
I think overall it's pretty much a wash. I would do it if I was the Knicks just to get out of 1 year of Calderon's contract.
Right. But what's the why?
Why would the Clippers do it?
The Clippers are like, wait a second. Can we make our salary cap worse? Call us back, Phil Jackson.
Right. Yeah, I don't see really what's in it for the Clippers unless they think, hey, maybe we shouldn't have Austin Rivers be our backup point guard.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. But either way, he's not getting traded before the season starts. It's just that we're running out of players to talk about that might get traded.
It's literally Calderon earlier, the only two players available. So let's stop making up trade rumors that involve anybody else. Because it can't happen.
I mean, can't you just say, hey, it's the offseason. Nothing's happening in Knicks world. Hey, editor, I'm just not going to put anything out there.
Everyone throws out these wild trade rumors. And it's like, yeah, the Knicks would love to have an all-star on the team. But they have literally two players they can trade. So that significantly limits what you can do. So stop it.
This is how the stories go. It's like, hey, late-breaking story. Carmelo Anthony is going to give up the NBA to become a fisherman, and he's going to end up on one of those crazy shows where they follow them hunting crab off of the Arctic. Really? And then you're like, oh, what happened? Melo said he likes to fish. So I assume that means he's going to give up on the NBA and become a fisherman on one of those catch wildlife shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And big news, big breaking story also. Did you know our new Kristaps Porzingis?
Mm-hmm.
He was either on To Catch a Predator or watching the movie Predator. Anyway, big story.
One of the two.
One of the two. One of them probably is a lot more important than the other one.
So before we start getting into our questions, we have one more.
There's nothing going on in Knicks world.
Well, no, we have one more funny story. JR finally, after 7 weeks, got offered a contract.
Oh, I didn't know he got offered a contract.
Yes. It is for about 1 point.
Wait, is it from Subway to replace Jared?
It is for about $1.5 million less than he opted out for.
Yeah.
2 years, though. 2 years at a little over $5 million.
Okay.
Per
Who
year.
made the offer? Cleveland, right?
Yeah. So he opted out of 6.5 to get a little over $5 million for 2 years.
Well, it's $10 million. It's still more money.
He's still overpaid.
Yeah, no, it's still not. It's not exactly what he was looking for, but it doesn't mean like he doesn't look like the idiot here. Well,
He
also
kind of
look
does,
idiot.
yeah.
No, you know what? Here's my point: is that it doesn't look so terrible. It's not like he's like, oh my god, I'm getting a league minimum contract. I'm still getting more money overall. I don't have to worry about next off season. I have some security.
Still looks pretty bad. I mean,
anyone else would say it's that.
It's almost like 9 years of showing hungover for the playoffs kind of had a negative impact on his value.
This is his best playoff run yet, right? Though.
Was it? He was terrible in the finals.
Yeah, but that's,
unless you count like the last 3 minutes of the closeout game, he was
I will
train wreck.
Right now, he was a lot better than he's been in the past.
Well,
Did he cost Cleveland any games by elbowing another member of another teammate, a guy in the other team in the face and getting suspended?
He did get suspended, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that did happen.
So nothing's changed.
Okay,
really.
okay. Anything else going on in the NBA?
And he had a bunch of crappy games, and then one really good game, and everyone focused on the good game and said, "Oh my God, like what a deal."
Okay, I think everyone's convinced that J.R. Smith not that good, not a big deal. The whole we went to Cleveland, now he's finally good. He sucks. He's a mediocre player. Once in a while he can look good. Even with LeBron, he only looks kind of good once in a while.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, but who cares? He's not a Knick. Very happy he's not a Knick. Sasha Kaun agrees to a 2-year deal with the Cavs.
Who?
I don't know, but I looked at RealGM.com. And,
how are they still getting players? Don't they have like 19 players on the roster?
I don't know. He's getting a max deal, though.
I'm sure he is. Nobody goes to Cleveland for less than that. JR is like the only player who's not getting a max on that team.
Yeah, I mean, half the team is getting a max contract. Like, he is what number? What is he, 10th on the team in salary?
I think even less.
I don't know. Anything else going on here?
We could jump into emails. We have a bunch.
No, let's try to find anything. Carlos Boozer, intrigued by interest from China. Here you go on. Will Bynum agrees to deal with the Guangdong Tigers.
Cool. Will Bynum. Lorenzo writes, have you guys seen the Bleacher Report about updated NBA Jam rosters? Basically, for each of the 30 teams, they use the 2015-16 team roster to create an updated NBA Jam-style team of 3. This consists of 1 alpha dog and 2 complementary players, with the focus usually being on dunks and threes as per the arcade game. They also include a made-up cheat code that, when activated, has an impact usually related to that team's history. Surprise, surprise.
I keep thinking we're doing this live show where people can see us, and I'm like, wait, where am I? Like, am I sitting properly? Or I'm all sensitive now.
Well,
I'm self-conscious.
You should, because
Jay, is this my good side, or is this my good side? Tell me, Jay. How should I sit, Jay?
I mean,
should I cross my arms, try to look tough?
There is like 2 people in the chat room, so you should be very self-conscious.
This live show thing is going really well. Go on.
I am not going to the Knicks because it's a Bleacher Report article, which means it's a slideshow, and I'm not giving them 20 pages of clicks just to get to the Knicks.
Don't give them the free clicks, Jay. Don't.
I am not. I refuse to do that.
Are we trying to figure out who the Knicks NBA Jam players are?
Oh, well, we can't do that now because I'm not clicking on it. He said he came up with a good cheat code, but Amari would have to be on the floor for it to work. Type in douse that fire, and when a player on the other team catches fire, Amari has the option to walk over to the sideline, punch a fire extinguisher, and then use it to chase that player down and put out the fire.
That's pretty funny.
I like it.
Yeah.
Only
Maybe it should be a cheat code where you can trade J.R. Smith to any team you'd like and have him just bring down that team.
Michael writes, when you were doing that bit about players doing better, worse, or as expected next season, I had tuned out for a second, but spit my beer when I heard what I thought was Jay calling himself the As Inspector. Haha, he keeps saying it. Keep up the good work, As Inspectors. That would have been a funny option to add in.
As Inspector?
Yeah, like Ass Inspector.
Oh.
John writes, the last you said you didn't like the Chandler trade. Looking at it today, this is what the trade looks like. The Knicks trade Raymond Felton to Dallas for Calderon early and Greek salad. After a year, it looks to me like Dallas was raped. That's why it takes a year or two to evaluate a trade. Also, JR barely made it back on the Cleveland roster, proving him to be a throw-in the Shumpert deal. We wouldn't have gotten rid of JR on our own. He would have definitely re-signed if he was still with the Knicks due to the fact there's absolutely no market for him via trade or free agency. Phil Jackson was smart to dump him. Care to reevaluate Phil Jackson?
I mean, I guess the only criticism really is that you felt like he could have gotten more for Tyson Chandler at the time. That's all.
Well,
I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. He's off of Dallas, so right now, a year later, it doesn't look that bad as far as what we actually got.
Yeah, but you're leaving out a big part of that trade is the fact that we don't have Chandler on our roster. Right. I mean, I know Dallas doesn't either, but we don't.
Well, he wouldn't have been here anyhow. He's a free agent. He would have been a free agent.
Well, we could have re-signed him.
Do you think he was going to come back?
He's making less than he did for Robin Lopez money.
Fair enough, but he's injured all the time, and B, he was so sick of being on the Knicks that he wouldn't have come back.
Okay, I mean, I still don't like the trade. I mean, yeah, we got rid of.
At the time of the trade, you weren't like, we shouldn't trade Chandler. I want him on the team. All you said all this time was, hey, we didn't get enough for Chandler. You've never been like, we should have kept him.
No, that's true. And even if you break it down to players who are still on the roster, meaning Felton for Calderon early and Greek Salad, we're glad to get rid of Felton. We want to get rid of Calderon. Early's been really bad, and we have no idea what Greek Salad is. So it's still not like great.
Ask this question next year and see where we are.
Yeah, I guess we have to reevaluate again, but I'm not like.
You know what it is? It's not a terrible, terrible move. It just didn't work out.
Right.
Or it hasn't worked out as well as we'd hoped. But even right now, it just looks like both teams didn't get much better.
True. Okay.
And the Shumpert JR, we're glad JR's off the team. Shumpert would have been off the team no matter what because they weren't going to re-sign him because they didn't have enough faith in Shumpert.
Well, and we were saying that we had to throw in Shumpert to get rid of JR. He was that bad. It was a terrible contract, and it's proven the fact that it took him 7 weeks to get a barely above minimum salary contract.
NBA rookie survey, they left off Porzingis. How do you feel about that? So they released the NBA rookie survey, the predictions for rookie of the year, best career, biggest steal, etc. Porzingis is not mentioned at all. Either is our other dude from Notre Dame, but Porzingis is not mentioned at all in the survey. How do you feel, Jay? How do you feel that they're doubting your boy?
I was kind of surprised that he didn't make any, even like funniest player or,
I thought he might be on there for best career.
I thought he might have been. Who was the guy in Dallas that we had to look up that we didn't even.
What was it? Best career. They had Justin Anderson.
Right. Like
the 21st pick, and I'm sure he's probably a decent player, but come on, really?
Well, all these guys are like 20, so they don't know shit. So
also for the for NBA Rookie of the Year, the guy who had the most votes was Okafor. Makes sense. Number 2 is Stanley Johnson. Everyone's really high on Stanley Johnson. He didn't even go there. He went like 11th or 12th. Yeah. Everyone thinks he has a pretty low ceiling. Also,
I'm trying not to get too into all these predictions before anybody's played a game.
I think Clancy Early had made funniest last year. So, and he has not been a funny member of the Knicks. So,
did you just make that up?
He did make the list last year.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot. I think he did make for funniest.
I haven't seen him do one even remotely humorous thing.
Well, I don't. Maybe we don't hang out with him. Maybe he's a riot.
That is true. He should come on the show and show us how funny he is.
Maybe the Knicks were like, "Hey, winning like 2 games last year was sucked, but without Early there making us see the funny side of it all, we wouldn't have gotten through it."
Kazim writes, "Hey guys, my question to you is: Phil compared to Porzingis to Pau Gasol. Now he's comparing him to Sean Bradley. Why would you say that about your number 4 pick? Also, 8 parts of the Phil files and 8 days worth of getting tight. Phil is overly critical, and I get it, and he can be inartful in his assessments of players, but why getting up in arms every time he opens his mouth? Hashtag Team Mark is the best team in the league. Sorry, Jay, you're still cool, but you're the Robin and Mark's Batman. Unless you go on to become Nightwing, but let's keep it real, it's not the same as Batman. I know Mark has no idea what that means."
Not a clue, actually. Yeah, Team Mark in your face, Jay.
That sucks. So, I mean, it's not like Sean Bradley was bad. If Porzingis ends up being Sean Bradley,
I will be upset.
I will be upset too, but Sean Bradley wasn't a bad player. It's not like he was like.
Let's go to the stat guy. Was Sean Bradley a bad player? He put up a lot of blocks. He didn't have much of a career, though. He played for a while.
He didn't have much of a, I mean, he had like a, 12-year career, which is not bad. He was, I mean, yeah, I would be disappointed if Porzingis was Bradley, but
he
it's
had a couple years of double figures in points. Let's see.
I mean, it's not like he was.
Guy 8'7". His rebounding was okay.
Did you say he was 8'7"?
Yeah, he wasn't 8'7", 7 inches.
No.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. That would make him the tallest man on the planet. This is what happens when we don't have a stats guy. God damn it! You know what? We should probably.
Was he 7'6"?
We should probably email back all the people who said they wanted to be a stats guy.
He had a crazy amount of blocks, which it's just a weird. The weird part about comparing him is that I don't know. I don't understand. I thought he was supposed to be this great 3-point shooter.
Other than being tall and white, there's really no comparison to their careers.
What comparison did Phil make? They go, "Hey, Phil, who's someone that's around Porzingis' height?" Sean Bradley. Good enough. We'll call them the same.
Yeah.
You know what? I also kind of hate when everyone has to you have to categorize the guy. You have to say, well, he's going to be like this guy. It's like when everyone came into the league after Jordan, they said, well, he's good. He's going to be good. He's going to be the next Jordan.
Remember when Harold Miner was going to be the next Jordan?
Yeah.
And if you're saying who's Harold Miner, exactly.
He's a hell of a dunker.
He had like 3 good dunks and then was out of the league in a couple of years.
Yes. He played for Miami. I just hate whatever. We don't know. We'll see how Porzingis is. Hopefully he's better than Sean Bradley. He's probably doesn't have the same game. He doesn't have the same game as Pau Gasol. We'll just see how he develops.
Yeah.
All we know for sure is that it was a bad pick. Okay, let's move on, Jay.
We have a hashtag Team J for life in the chat room, so there you go.
That's bullshit.
We're tied now. Mr. C, hey guys, love the show. Was JR right to opt out? I think so because although he's getting less in year 1, he would probably do something really dumb next year, meaning no one would want to sign him the following year.
He would still struggle to get signed next year, so it's not the worst move ever.
Not the worst. Plus, he gets to chase a championship for 2 straight years. So,
2 years playing with LeBron, I think that's actually not the worst deal ever.
I still think he was dumb to opt out because he could have chased a championship this year and got 6.5. But you do have a point that if he does something dumb again this year, he could have been playing for the vets min the year after.
Yeah, guaranteed 10 is much better than 1 year at 6.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not a huge difference because even if he got the vets min next year, it would have been like 2.5. So you're talking about like 9 versus 10.
I think you just want to hate on JR here.
Of course.
Yeah, I think this is not. It wasn't like a masterpiece of a plan, but it's not so terrible.
According to Forbes.com, the Knicks ticket prices are up 17% on the secondary market compared to this time last year, despite our worst season ever. Are the Knicks fans stupid or crazy or just happy JR's gone? I think a little bit of all 3.
Yes, I'd say all 3. It's amazing how the Knicks. How is this franchise worth $1 billion when we barely win games?
I also love how they have this like storied history of going to the finals twice 40 years ago.
Yeah, you're playing at the Mecca. By Mecca, you mean a place where teams don't win games.
I mean, granted, they were competitive for like 10 straight years in the 90s, but, you know, the Kings were competitive for like 6 straight years in the 90s, in the early 2000s. They don't call them like a storied franchise.
They play up a history that is kind of a house of cards or like a very hollow history.
Yeah.
Not the whatever. Every offseason, we get excited, and we're supposed to get excited, and we're waiting to get let down, and hopefully this time we will not be let down.
I kind of think it's stupid to be paying that much because we got like a couple draft picks.
We got Porzingis. I'm going to pay to see the White Wonder.
The Daily News thinks we're...
We call him the White Gazelle.
The White Gazelle?
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
terrible.
didn't know what color gazelles would normally be, but I'm going to call him the White Gazelle. The Great White Gazelle.
Okay.
He's got gazelle-like features.
All right.
Okay.
The New York Daily News thinks we're after Jamal Crawford. Would you trade away Galloway or Calderon for him?
Not Galloway because he plays defense and Crawford does not. But Calderon, I'm not even sure I'd make this trade. I don't really see the huge benefit in getting Crawford.
I would trade Calderon and early for Wilcox and Crawford, which, again, is literally the only trade that could possibly happen. I would do that just to have everyone off the salary cap next year.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you want a Calderon making $10 million at 35 years old next year?
No, I don't. That's a very valid reason to do the trade. We are really weak at guard. I'm going to keep saying this until someone says, hey, Phil, can you do something about this?
I mean, we're going to suck at point guard anyway. Might as well give Grant some time to develop.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is we're part of this is the rebuilding process. It's going to be a process. We have a bunch of guys who have high ceilings. Hopefully some guys start working out, and we'll see what happens.
All right, let's get to our 45 million Facebook questions.
Nothing's going on in Knicks world. We have 45 million questions. Michael says, how many wins do you realistically see us having? Because when you really break it down the roster, this team isn't good. The way I see it, the only way the Knicks make the playoffs is if Melo has another MVP year. If he doesn't, we are winning. We are not winning 30-30 games. Lopez isn't really much of a difference maker, especially since we won 37 games with Chandler and a better team. Aflalo was not good last season, especially in Portland. I have high hopes for him, but I don't know. Thoughts?
35 wins, 9th seed. That's my prediction.
I am still going to go high on this team and say 42 wins, 8th seed. I think they'll be a little better than everyone expects, even though I think... Actually, we're going to have major issues at guard, so I don't even know. I think this team is you have a whole other roster than last year. Basically, this is an entirely different team.
Yep.
It's going to take a little while for the team to gel. But you know what? We might as well be optimists now because we have the entire year to complain. You're right. Lopez versus Chandler. But Chandler was injured part of that year when they won 37 games. And Chandler just was not playing with a lot of intensity that year. So I think Lopez is probably going to be as good as Chandler was that year, maybe better.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's younger. He actually is going to give a crap. Chandler was really he was done that year.
I think the teams are right.
He wasn't done with his career. He just wasn't into playing for the Knicks anymore.
I feel like after the Knicks, there's going to be a huge drop-off. Do you know ESPN picked the Knicks to finish 14th? I find that completely ridiculous.
Well, they just take last year's team and pretend it's this year's team. It's a completely different roster.
I mean, Detroit's going to be terrible. Orlando's going to be absolutely terrible. I think Philly was the team they picked to finish below them. Indiana's going to be terrible. I mean,
the Knicks are going to be a little better, I think, than everyone expects. You know what? That team also won 37 games, played absolutely no defense. This team, we're built on a team that's going to play a little more defense.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the Knicks are making a much more serious commitment to playing defense. The only guys in this team that you would say are poor defenders are Calderon and Carmelo.
Right.
And I think Melo can play better defense if everyone else around him does also.
The Nets are going to be terrible.
No, the Nets are going to be amazing. They're winning the title. They got Bargs.
The Nets are pretty much last year's team minus Deron Williams plus Bargs.
Which is an upgrade. That's not an upgrade.
That's a really bad team.
I don't know why you would do that. That's pretty bad. Where's Williams again now? He's on Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. George writes, would Jamal Crawford be a great addition? Previously, Phil brought in players like Glenn Rice to the Lakers and used them as a microwave scoring options off the bench. Thoughts?
No. He would not be a great addition. He's, 34, coming off the worst season of his career?
Yeah, so that's the kind of guy you want to get.
That's the kind of guy the Knicks always get, yeah.
I also think Crawford has a little bit of JR in him. Not the stupidity part, but the
inconsistency, yeah. He could drop 50 points in a game, and he could also go 1 for 15 and shoot you out of a game.
Yeah, I just don't think we need a guy. We need more consistency. We need guys that are better two-way players. Crawford's a guy you add when your team is more finished also.
Yeah.
or closer. I mean, Clippers have a much better use for him than the Knicks do. George writes, how do you feel about Melo taking his teammates away to the mini camp? Do you think he's trying to become a better leader and step up this season, having the team unity concept?
I think so. I think he's gotten a lot of shit, and maybe he's trying to be more proactive. I hope so.
I mean, I have to think that he's coming off the worst season in Knicks history. He's coming back. He's healthy, or supposedly healthy. He wants this to be a good year, and he kind of realizes that. Phil probably has said to him, like, you really have to step up and become a team leader for this team to succeed.
For those people saying we were hard on Melo for thinking of himself first and saying that's unreasonable, he postponed surgery until the All-Star game and planned his comeback in time for the Team USA camp. So there is that.
Yeah, I don't know. Phil hasn't even got on him for this. Phil's been very critical about a lot of players. Not that he's going to be that critical of Melo, but whatever. He's not playing on Team USA.
Well, he was in the camp this week.
He's not playing on the actual team, though.
You don't think he's going to play on the actual team?
No. Guess I'll throw up if he does.
Of course he's going to.
He's not going to be. That's not till next summer, right? Is it
right?
2016.
Yeah.
Whatever. Rosero writes, did Mark see the NWA movie? I hear in great reviews from it. Can Mark put his difference aside and just enjoy a good movie? I don't know what my difference is, but I'm actually really want to see that movie. I actually think it's going to be pretty good because I have 2 kids. The chances are I will see that movie when it comes to HBO, not when it's going to be in the theater. But that is one of the 2. I think I mentioned on Brink. I have 2 movies I'd want to see this year: the Entourage movie, which I know is going to be bad, and the NWA movie. I think the NWA movie will be pretty good.
Okay.
So as we discussed, also the NWA, they had 2 good songs.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some pretty obviously they had some big careers out of that, but they only had 2 good songs. But it did start a movement. Stephen writes, does Mark ever have night terrors about his big black dildos? What does his wife's when she asked about them? Does he lie? Yes. She's like, why are you screaming? And I'm like, it's not about big black dildos. And she's like, okay, good, as long as it's not that. Dennis,
it is summer, which means it's big black dildo question time on the Knicks podcast.
Nothing else to talk about. Let's talk about big black dildos. Dennis writes,
it's a summer tradition.
Summer tradition. If you go back and listen to last season's off season, there were a lot of big black dildo episodes.
Way too many, in my opinion.
Should I bring that? Here's the question for you, Steven. Should I bring up my night terrors about the big black dildos before or after we see the NWA movie? Dennis writes, possible trade: Rubio for Calderon. Yes or no?
Hell yes.
No.
What?
No.
What? Explain.
Rubio actually has a worse injury history than Calderon. And secondly, Rubio can't shoot.
He's 24. He's a way better defender and a better passer.
He can't shoot.
He can't shoot.
He cannot shoot. You don't have to even guard him.
Can't shoot. Better defender, better passer.
You know what? He's done a lot in Minnesota. They've been really good with him.
Look at the rest of their roster.
I don't know. The roster keeps getting better, and they're talking about trading him, so they can't be that excited for him.
I say yes, but again, why would Minnesota do that? Hey, we have everyone on our team is 25 or under. Let's trade for a 34-year-old injured point guard.
Vet leadership, all about vet leadership.
Yeah.
William writes, how does Mark feel now that the government is watching him, recording his conversations and tracking his heartbeats now that he has an iPhone? Do they really track my heartbeats?
Probably. Who knows?
Is there like a czar of heartbeats?
I feel like if the government was, I'm sure they're recording everything, but if they were listening to everything, we'd probably be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think they actually pay it. We'd probably be in trouble as a nation if they're actually taking the time to listen.
I mean, I think they're just looking for keywords, which I'm not going to say right now, but I'm sure there's like a few keywords that would pick them up and have them monitored.
Yeah, just ISIS, J going to ISIS, going to Oman, join ISIS. Okay, go
Great.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever. That's a more ranked category. But it's you know what? The government should spend less time watching me and more time fixing the NBA so the Knicks can be better.
Mm-hmm.
Or getting rid of flopping. Maybe they could deal with that. Iman writes, will the Knicks win more than 30 games? What happens if Melo gets injured? Do they still win more than 30 games? Without Melo, not a shot.
Without Melo, yeah, absolutely no shot.
Without Melo, this team wins 25 games. With Melo, I'm going 42 wins. That's what I said before. Jay, I feel like you predicted more wins before. Have you lost?
I did. I forgot about Boston. I think Boston is a better team than I remembered.
Yeah. How long do you think it's going to take this team to gel?
That's the other thing. I think it'll probably be a month or two.
I feel like we're going to have a rough first month of the season. Everyone's going to start getting down on the Knicks. Then we're going to slowly creep back up.
Yeah. And I think it'll be like a season-long Knicks comeback where we go down by a lot, come just back, and just miss the playoffs.
One game short of the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll be like one game out of the playoffs.
How Rosera writes, how bad will the Knicks get their ass kicked in the start of the season? Have you seen this, Jay? Have you looked at their schedule?
No, I have not looked at the schedule at all.
Wait. Okay, so you're gonna do the. I'm gonna read the game, and you're gonna tell me win or lose.
Okay. Oh, we're not doing all 82, right?
All 82. Game 1, Bucks.
Ooh.
I think the Bucks are gonna be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I know, but like, are the Bucks going to be good right away? I would say they win because they have more pieces from last year, so they have less like gelling to do.
Okay. Game 2, Hawks.
This is where the Knicks win and get our hopes up.
Okay, this is our Cleveland victory from last year when we beat LeBron.
Exactly.
Okay, we're 1-1 there. Wizards.
Wizards, I would say loss.
Okay, 1-2. Spurs.
Yeah, I would say loss. I was thinking that would be another like lift me up game. But Spurs.
Yeah.
Good.
Forget the lift me up. 1-3.
Yeah.
Okay, who we play next? Who do you think we play next?
Cavs.
Yes, exactly. Actually,
we win that one, and that is where we go ape shit. We are 2-3. We are going bonkers, saying this team is going to make the playoffs, and then for the next 5, you could just all pencil them in for losses. I don't care who we're playing.
Okay, then comes the Bucks.
Yeah, loss.
Lakers. We should be
loss. No. I'm telling you that Cavs game is going to be the peak of the season, just like last season. And
Raptors.
Loss. Loss.
Hornets. Cavs.
Loss.
I feel like I'm bleeding from my anus, like reading the schedule. This is a brutal start. But you know what the problem is also? Every game the Knicks are going to play, all 82, are against professional NBA teams. And the Knicks are barely won. So it's going to be a tough season. December 2nd, we play the 76ers. I'm excited for that first victory of the year. This is a rough start. I still think I'm going to, whatever. Until this team pops my bubble of optimism, I have to pretend to have some optimism right now. Because if you can't get up for the start of the season, then this is going to be a rough season.
Yeah. I mean, we can't get bitter before the season even starts. Although I'm sure it'll be shortly after, but, you know.
William writes, I think why most people write random and no spell check questions is because you guys ask usually on Friday, where people are usually shit-faced drunk like me at 3 a.m. in the morning typing on the Knicks podcast Facebook page. Also because we are so used to our smartphones and Google, most of us forgot how to write. Mark, this will also happen with to you with your smartphone. Give it time, buddy, and remember the Alamo. Alamo spelled Alimo.
I do not accept that as a valid excuse.
I do think I've noticed on my iPhone is that I start typing something, I don't even come close to spelling some things, and the iPhone's just like, you were trying to write. They get it right. Like I'm like RLVM. They're like Knicks. Yep, that's what I was writing. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. It fixes it to make it correct, not worse.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to necessarily have to spell things right anymore. You just have.
Well, that's kind of the opposite excuse for what he was saying.
Yeah, it's true. Everything gets spelled wrong here. That is true.
It's almost like you're going out of your way to make it worse.
That's true. Also, we post asking for questions on Friday. That's true. But we post that at like 7:30 in the morning. We put that question up there.
That is true.
You have a sober day at work. You have a long. There is almost 24 hours between the time you're talking, the question gets posted, and when you're drunk at that night.
And there's also all day Saturday and all day Sunday.
Yeah, you have plenty of time.
And these questions don't get better like the closer it comes to the show. It's not like Sunday afternoon. We're like, pardon me, sir, but I would like to ask a query about the Knicks. It doesn't get better.
William, should I do this week? I should do Thursday this week. Will that make it better?
Maybe we'll just post it tomorrow. New episode and then questions for next week. We'll see how coherent the questions are. I'm sure they'll be really, really well written.
At the same time, I think this question right now is a very coherent one coming up.
Okay.
It's very proper. I believe this guy's British. Harry writes, Don't you hate when you in class taking a test and you try to copy from the guy or girl for the feminist next to you and he covers his paper like, what a faggot thing to do? Faggot spelled wrong. What is Jay and Mark's reaction when they see someone trying to copy their test paper? And I ask Koss, there is so much Knicks news, SMH.
How is Harry, William, and Rosero not the same person?
They're clearly the same person. For me, I have not been in school now for, I want to say...
20 years?
11, well, like, I've been out of school for about 11 years.
Okay.
So it's been a little while. And when I was in school, you probably weren't going to have... It probably wouldn't be a good idea to try to copy off of me. As far as me copying off other people, that probably would have been a better outcome for me.
Okay.
Jay, what about you? You're in class much more often than I am.
Yeah, no, it's you'd probably have a better time copying off of me.
Here's. So I'm going to try to copy off Jay. Jay's going to. What are you going to do? You're going to try to block the paper so I can't see it, Jay?
You know what? I usually don't. The girl who sits next to me, who I'm friends with, who I've taken multiple classes with, covered her goddamn paper. So it's all at war now. I have 2 classes with her this semester. She's not looking at shit on my paper. That's some messed up stuff.
That's some messed up shit.
That is messed up.
That is SMH territory.
Considering she asked me for, like, downloaded versions of the textbook and, you know, my homework answers and stuff, and then we have a test and she's, like, covering her paper. Hell no.
You should, like, when she's like, oh, can I get a downloaded version of the textbook? You should give her something that's completely different.
I'll just give her, like, The Great Gatsby.
Yeah. She's like, I don't get it. I thought this entire class on economics was all about
economics.
People live in Long Island.
Nope, it's about Pip and his great expectation.
Okay, this class on humanities, and the book starts off with, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. This makes sense.
I think we just lost everybody.
Yeah. Harry writes, I'm trying to remember, like, people trying to copy off me if I tried to, like, hide. I don't really remember anyone trying to copy off me. That's really I think people were smart enough not to copy off me. And I do remember one class, like freshman year of high school, where it was like a class on television.
Mm-hmm.
It was like TV production.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever the reason, the answer to the question was chips, but just chips. And I remember I copied off someone, and I wrote microchips, because I don't know why I thought I'd be smarter than the person I'm copying off of. And apparently a bunch of people did the same thing, and the teacher was just like, yeah, so all the people that put microchips, copy off the other person better.
What was it, like a cop show with like a black and white guy from the 70s, and you just wrote microchips?
Probably.
Lost everyone again. We're
Probably. I don't remember why, but it was just like, it was one of those things where you had to have copied the person and just tried to be smarter than the person you're copying off of.
Sorry, it's a Latino guy and a white guy.
I never really watched that show. Harry writes, I hate when stupid, foolish Knicks fans make unrealistic trades like Jose Calderon for LeBron, or Jose Calderon for Blake Griffin.
Or Jose Calderon for anybody.
Yeah. He's not being traded right now. Ali writes, Charles Barkley actually said he likes what the Knicks did this summer, but yet we only get 7 nationally televised games. What the hell?
That's fine. I think if you win 17 games, you deserve to get shafted on nationally televised games the following year.
Totally agree. Pretty sure Barkley does not make the decision what games get nationally televised.
Well, no, that's two different things. Barkley always hates on the Knicks, so I think it's a big deal that he said he liked what we did.
Yeah, no, I actually think that's whatever you want to say about Barkley's opinion, it's a pretty good sign that someone that hates on the team is now like, oh, you guys, I like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you care if the Knicks games are nationally televised? Like, you see them on MSG anyhow.
Right. Even when they're nationally televised, I watch them on MSG because I would much rather hear Clyde Frazier than like Reggie Miller.
Oh, I hate when it's like on ABC and it's only on ABC and you're hearing Reggie Miller do the game. And
it should not be allowed to have Reggie Miller do a Knicks game. That's just messed up.
That's really just not fair. I'm trying to think of like the equivalent would be.
I guess that would be like having Charles Oakley do the Pacers games.
Yeah.
Or Patrick Ewing or something like that.
Yeah, that would probably be
John Starks. Probably John Starks, because he probably has the most annoying voice out of the three. Because Reggie Miller has a terrible voice to boot.
Meta World Peace doing the Pacer games?
That I would actually want to hear that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I would rather hear Meta World Peace do any game. Halfway through the game, they wouldn't even be talking about the game anymore.
I don't think at any point during the game they'd be talking about the game.
Yeah.
Greg writes, if this is true, get the F out of New York. Knicks Calderon implies Clippers, Timberwolves are interested in acquiring him.
Yeah, I saw that. He tweeted something like "Wake up" when those rumors came out. All right.
Whatever.
Well,
Greg writes, any NBA players you guys have met in person? Hey, where's Woody?
I've been within a few feet of Charles Smith.
I was in a bar where Charles Barkley and Dan Marley came in.
Nice.
Yeah, they were. I didn't meet them or anything, but they were in the bar and they were gigantic.
I have actually Martin, who has the one episode you missed. He co-hosted, and he is a Cablevision employee, so he got the opportunity to play basketball on the floor of MSG, and he brought me, and the professor from Brink, and so the three of us played basketball on the floor of MSG, and Charles Smith was there.
That's pretty cool. When was this? When was this?
Like 2 years ago. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, just
cool.
to actually be on the floor of MSG and
Wait, this happened 2 years ago? We didn't talk about it on the show?
Yeah, it was kind of weird that I kind of just didn't even mention that, huh?
Why did you not mention it?
I don't know. I have pictures of it and everything.
This happened 2 years ago and you just like left it out?
I think so. Maybe 3.
Yeah. So anyway, Patrick Ewing is the godfather for my kids. I didn't talk about that? Wait, this happened 2 years ago and you just left it out?
Let's say maybe 3 or 4.
Was it before we did the show or after we started doing the show?
I'm going to look up the picture and see when.
Because it's really like odd that you'd be like, oh, I have a great story about the Knicks. I'm not going to share it with anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that, huh?
Anyway, so I had a 3-way with Allen Houston. I'm not going to talk about it. And where's Woody? Jay, you want to get him back on the show?
Yeah, we got to get Woody back on the show.
Especially nothing's going on right now. Greg writes, yay or nay? And this is the Knicks are looking for an upgrade at the point guard position. Ricky Rubio is one of their targets. And whatever. I don't see how we're getting him. So let's just move on. Steven writes, what does Mark think about Yoenis Cespedes hitting 3 home runs to propel the Mets to a 14-9 win over the Rockies?
Oh, Jesus.
I'll tell you what I think. It's a Cespedes for the rest of us. They have to sign him. They have to bring him back next year.
Okay.
And I love the Mets, just to point out, also the Mets have swept the Rockies for the first time. They've swept them on the road in Denver ever. And they had this guy.
Awesome. No, that's really cool. So I just looked it up. I have
the guy basically he went in the Rule 5 draft, and he wasn't even supposed to be on the team. Yeah, no,
That's
just saying
awesome.
the Knicks,
Yeah.
and he pitched a great game today. 8 innings. What is his name? Jay, do you remember?
Yeah, it's Frank. I don't give a shit.
Frank, I don't give a shit. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, he's a pitch
Logan
hitter.
Verrett. That's actually his name.
Yeah,
So he pitched
exactly
pretty well.
what I said.
Mets are going to be in the playoffs. You know what the thing with the Mets is? Every year they let you down, and this is the one year where they didn't let you down, and they're on a run for the playoffs. And we're getting really excited. And I think the Knicks, to bring it back to the Knicks, they're not going to let us down this year either.
So I have no sense of time, and I was actually playing on MSG in 2009, which was the year before we started the show.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. It would have been really weird if we were like, let's talk about the Knicks. You know, they play at MSG where I was yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like the pictures are tagged July of 2009, and I think we started the show October 2010?
Right. Jay's going to tell stories now and have no clue of when they happened in his life.
I have no
He'll be
idea
like,
what's
yo,
happening.
last week I went to Disney World. It was either last week or 32 years ago when I was 6.
This is what grad school does to you. It just destroys you. Can't wait to start next week.
Rosero writes, I wonder what will happen if we set a 5-question max limit per person. Rosero writes, Rosero immediately just breaks that rule. Who does our draft pick belong to this time? I believe this is Denver. Oh no, this is Toronto gets it this year.
This is Toronto for the Barks trade.
But it would have been it would have been without the Barks trade. It would have been we would have had the
swap,
worst,
right?
A swap with Denver. Yes. So we took the swap and made sure we had no pick with the Barks trade.
Which probably would have been a pretty even swap at this point.
Oh yeah, with Denver.
Yeah, I mean Denver's going to finish 11th, and we would have we might finish 9th. I mean,
Right.
it wouldn't have been a terrible swap.
You know what's terrible? Giving up assets to get Bargs.
Yeah.
That is terrible. But he'll play for free. Rosero writes, 14th seed, I don't know. I mean, the computer was right last time. Yeah, the computer was right about the Knicks. It wasn't right about everyone. It just, every once in a while, like a broken clock, they get things right. I'm pretty sure they're, because right now, they're basing the Knicks wins total for next year based on last season's team, and it's a totally different team.
Yeah.
Stephen writes, does Mark own a big black dildo? I have a collection, Stephen. Ollie writes, you guys watch that show, Ballers on HBO? Such a good show. It's like Entourage meets the NFL with The Rock. I'm going to add in, Ollie, it's like Entourage meets a less interesting show with The Rock. It's nothing happens in that show. I'm still watching it. It's not that good. Ollie, do you really like this show? Jay, do you watch it?
No. I still don't have HBO.
Oh yeah, you don't watch what's the show? You want a Game of Thrones?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were going to do that soon.
Yeah, it's too close to school now. I'm going to have to try in January.
You should just drop out of school to watch this.
Just so we can do a
Ballers,
3-minute segment on the show saying what I think of it.
I'd much rather watch Fear the Walking Dead than watch Ballers. It's mediocre. Hopefully it'll get better, but so far you have The Rock, who's he's a good actor. He has a good presence. You like him. You like watching him. But the rest of the show, not much happens. It's kind of boring. It's actually shockingly boring, the show. Anyway, Ollie writes, am I the only one who doesn't want Jamal or Rubio? I mean, Rubio, not really shitty contract for a guy who can't shoot. Crawford, one of the NBA's biggest ball hogs and doesn't really have defense.
I mean, it's not a good trade except for salary cap implications.
Yeah, that's the only reason that makes some sense to me. The Rubio, I'm not sold on Rubio being that great of a point guard anymore.
Yeah.
He's 24. He's been in the league for a while. He gets injured every year. I'm pretty sure he's not going to have that great of a career.
Yeah.
Harry writes, has Mark gotten a virus in his phone yet by going to porn websites? Jay, what is better, iOS iPhones or Android phones?
I think Android's better.
Can you get first of all, can you get viruses on your phone?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a phone is not really the greatest way to look at porn, so I've never tried that.
I didn't know you could get viruses. Harry, could you tell me more about getting viruses on my phone? Why do you think Android's better? I have no basis. I don't know Android very well, but obviously I have the iPhone. I think the iPhone's pretty damn cool so far. Why is Android better, Jay? And where were you before I bought this?
I just feel like it's easier to use. I know. I'm just basing it on like my girlfriend got an iPhone and hates it, and I have an Android phone and I really like it.
Why does she hate it?
I don't know.
Do you listen to things she says?
Well, I listen to that much, and then after that, I'm like,
Jay,
turn it
I hate the iPhone. That's good, dear. I'm watching old Knicks games. Blah 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 blah. That's great, dear. That's great, dear. Is that how the conversation goes?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, Jay, I have something really important to talk to you about. And Practical Jokers is on. Shut the hell up, bitch. Harry writes, that would suck to get a virus on my phone. And that would suck to have to go back to the store. Be like, hey, AT&T, something's weird happening to my phone. I went to a gangbang porn site, and now my phone does this. Does this happen a lot? Could you help fix my gangbang porn phone? That'd be awkward. Harry writes, is Mark making his child a vegan? Obviously, yeah, of course. And what will he do when his son tells him he's getting bullied at school because his parents loved him too much? LOL. No, but yeah, what advice will you give your son if he is getting picked on, which happens all the time, considering Mark is not the athletic type? So I'm not sure he expects this. LOL. I'm going to tell my son what's very important in life is to be able to write a proper sentence. We'll see what happens, Harry. I will consult you when my son gets picked on at school. Right now he's 4 years old. The kids don't really pick on each other. But I'm sure in a couple of years they will, and that will be hopefully my son will be not part of the being picked on. I don't know. What would you do, Jay? Your son comes home to you like, I'm being picked on.
That's a tough one. I mean, do you talk to the teacher? Do you try and like talk to the kid? The thing is, like back in the day, a kid picked on you, you could have your dad show up in the playground and just like yell at the kid. Now with like, I feel like your dad would be in trouble if you did that.
Yeah, I guess you can call the teacher. Can you just go over to the house the kids that's picking on that dad and beat the crap out of him?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like when I was a kid, like I got picked on and my dad went over the schoolyard and said like, knock it the fuck off, and like that was it. But now like all the PC people would be like, oh, you're yelling at a kid and like this is messed up, and like I don't know. I think the PC movement would have ruined all that.
You said like 300 times there. I don't know why I was paying attention.
Oh, is this better? Fuck you.
That's much better. Yeah. Well, also like I'm gonna say like as well. I can't stop. You'll start saying, "Hey, stop picking my kid, you little shit," and they'll be like, "Got you on the iPhone. We're gonna put this on YouTube."
Yeah, and then the next viral video is like, adult attacks kid in the playground for no reason.
Listen, I don't know why I wasn't wearing my pants when I shouted at that kid, but it's irrelevant. I was just thinking of the content of my voice, not the lack of pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of things with kids when they get older. I don't really know what I would do. I guess I'll figure it out when I have no plan. I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'll ask my wife what she thinks and then try probably do the opposite and then regret it. Harry writes, Mark, will you force your kid to play sports? Will the new age of iPads and iPhones totally eradicate the age in which teens used to play ball outside or baseball or manhunt? First off, my kid will be forced to go outside and play with other kids and not sit on the iPads and the iPhones. But I do think that does hurt. I think kids want to sit on these iPads.
Yeah, yeah.
Will I force him to play sports? Yes, I'm going to force him to play sports. He doesn't have to be we're Jewish, so he's not going to be a great athlete. But he definitely has to play sports.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important. I think it's good for bonding, good to learn about team stuff. I don't know. I think it's good socially to play sports.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I was trying to figure out what sports he likes. Ali writes, it looks like it's going to be a very tough start to the season, but a perfect time to send the league a message. And that message is, we wish we had our draft pick. Ollie writes, Ricky Rubio trade to New York, buying it. He can't shoot, though.
Yeah, he definitely can't shoot.
Yeah, there's also a rumor that Anthony Davis for Calderon. You think we should do it?
Yeah, I think that would be a good trade.
You want to analyze the trade? Why this makes sense?
Yeah. Let's.
Well, I mean, Calderon, he's not the best. He's a good shooter, but and he brings a 3-point game. But Anthony Davis is working on his 3-point game. Anthony Davis makes us better, I believe. I think it's in the contract. Even if the contract kind of big, it might be a worthwhile gamble.
Yeah. Let's do that.
It's hamstring. Though it hurts us for salary cap. Maybe we shouldn't do it.
He does make a lot.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't do. No, we're not going to do Anthony Davis for Calderon. I don't think it's enough grade.
Because Davis has like a 5-year contract. Calderon only has 2.
So it's worse for salary cap.
Yeah, definitely worse for salary cap.
Calderon shoots. He's a better 3-point shooter than Anthony Davis.
We already have Robin Lopez.
Right. We're already stacked with big men. So
yeah,
it hurts us. We already have, just for team unity, most guys on our team have 2 eyebrows, not 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to hurt us. Right.
We'd be short an eyebrow.
Yeah, so that would hurt us. I'm saying we shouldn't do that move.
Yeah, bad move.
Ollie writes, believe Layla is cheating on Melo. Is it going to affect the season? I have no. Is Lala cheating or Layla, whatever? Is she cheating on Melo?
I doubt it.
I have no idea. And would it affect the season? Yeah, I think it would if she is.
Yeah.
What do you think the ultimate? If the Knicks had a terrible year, what would be the story there? What would happen? What would be the headline? The ultimate Knicks headline. I'll tell you what the ultimate Knicks headline would be: Lala cheating on Melo with Jr.
Yep, I can't even top that. JR gives Lala the pipe.
Ali writes, 14th seed. Wow, I love it. As impossible as it's going to sound, I want us to fly under the radar. That way, we get into the playoffs, it'll be much sweeter. Yeah, I think this year, if we make the 8th seed, we're all going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think so.
Ollie writes, all what Phil is saying is to help motivate his players. I think KP is there, but didn't Phil do something like that in LA?
Do something like what?
I don't know. Motivate his players.
Yeah. He. I mean, if you're talking about giving books, he did that in LA.
Yeah. He supposedly taught Ron Artest how to read.
Yeah, I mean, he gave a book to Ron Artest and got him to not be a maniac for 7 minutes.
Did they say what books he gave out?
Yeah. Are you talking about this year or previous years?
I know Derek Fisher this year. What book did he give out?
Oh, he gave, I think, Grant a book. I forgot the specific names. He gave Grant a book on leadership. He gave Porzingis a book called the Positive Cat or some kids book. And I think Early was the only other one he gave a book to.
Melo had why'd you give me Where's Waldo? Oh, because that's what it's like when you're on defense. So everyone didn't get a book, or just certain?
No, he just gave the young guy. He didn't give Melo a book.
Oh, that would have been funny if they were he's like, Melo, here's your book. Yeah, I'm gonna throw some of the garbage in front of you right now.
How does books build my brand?
How does reading build my brand, asshole?
He gave the Positive Dog to Porzingis. He gave.
Did Phil give out books by himself? One year he's like, Kobe, here's the book about how I hated you.
He gave Training Camp to Early. And he gave Developing the Leader Within You to Grant.
Maybe you should give Melo Lord of the Rings. Maybe get it? We want you to win rings. Ollie writes, Galloway or Grant starting? For game 1, I think this is pretty easy.
Yeah, Calderon.
That's probably true. Either way, the rookie does not start game 1. So Grant's got to earn his way.
Calderon.
Ollie writes, Kurt Rambis mentoring Kristaps? Sure.
Yeah, I like it.
Grant writes, last season we lost when we needed to win early in the season and won when we needed to lose in the end of the season. Do you see Phil and Derek doing anything to prevent that from happening this season? Trying to build a better team and coaching?
Yeah, I mean, this season we have no draft picks, so we're going to try and win the whole season.
Yeah, and they built a whole different roster, so they're trying to do something different.
Yeah.
William writes, please never, ever let Jay read questions. Mark, I believe this is for Team Mark question. Mark, you have a talent for it. Some would even say you were born for it. It's your destiny. Stated in the prophecy, you are the Keanu Reeves of reading questions. You are the one. I see here on your resume under skills, you write reading questions. Yeah, I've been told I'm really good at reading questions. Anyway, can I get the job here at Sports Center?
Well, let me pull up the questions and show you what they look like, and then maybe you'll fully understand. They're not as easy to read as you would think.
They'll try to read like, wow, you can just read this without like a double. Yeah, I don't have to read.
It's literally a skill. Trying to read these.
William writes, I believe that's a comment on Brink. Apparently, William, are you commenting that Jay shouldn't be reading the questions on Brink? Should he give that responsibility back over to me? William writes, holy sweet Caroline, you can't even trust an FF who eats sandwiches. Jared Fogle did not see that one coming.
We have a show called The Brink of Sanity, and we will be covering Jared on that show. BrinkofSanityShow.com.
Which is just the most amazing story.
Yes.
Harry writes, hey, Mark, don't hug your kids. You will make them weak. My mom did not hug me when I was a kid. So is that implying, Harry, you're strong?
Or are you saying you're weak?
Well, he said told me not to, but I'm also the dad, and he's talking about his mom not hugging him.
Don't understand, Harry. Don't know where you're going, Harry.
Your mom hugs you, but your dad doesn't. That's what it takes to succeed in America.
Harry, your question makes no sense to anybody.
William writes, don't trust the corporations.
Noted.
Cablevision, it's a corporation. Cablevision? I have Optimum Cable now, so Dolan gets my money now.
Lesser of two evils.
Yes. That is all the questions. And what did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that finally, almost 2 months into summer, we did a show that is under an hour and a half.
There's just nothing to talk about. Nothing's going on. When does training camp start? October?
Yeah. Maybe even September.
So the show will start getting interesting around end of September.
We learned that we were able to do a live show without completely messing everything up.
And did the live show totally worth it?
Oh, it was so worth all the effort and the money and the late nights trying to solve all these problems. It was
late nights from Jay, not me. We've got 0 questions on the show. Was there any interaction whatsoever, Jay? Did anyone comment on your glasses?
Steven said I looked at porn on my phone and I never got a virus from it.
Thank you, Steven.
That was the $300 right there, that comment.
Well, that was a very helpful tip. Because some people use their phone differently than other people. They want to make sure they're not going to get viruses using their phone. I just want to make sure. Okay.
Oh, God. All right. Well, hopefully this is our first announced live show. Hopefully it'll catch on.
Each week when we do, from now on, all the shows are going to be live unless we can't figure out how to do the live show that week.
And they'll be on Sundays at 8:30 unless otherwise announced.
Yes. And they'll be live unless otherwise announced.
And you could find the announcements on the Facebook group or on Twitter, which is at NYNix Podcast.
You should like us on Facebook unless otherwise announced.
NYNix Podcast on Instagram and NYNixPodcast@gmail.com is our email.
What the hell's going on Instagram? What's up there? What's our latest picture, Jay?
Our latest picture is pretty old because I've been updating the Brink one.
What's going on, Brink? What's up on the Brink show on the Brink website?
Well, I just logged out of the Brink one.
Well, you're pretty worthless, aren't you?
So look at the Knicks one. You're just completely messing me up right now.
I'm going to go on here to figure out what is on there. I have to find Instagram. This will be a riveting moment of the show.
Mark finds out what Instagram is.
I haven't. It came preload. No, I downloaded it on my show, and I only really follow the Knicks podcast and Brink and The Onion, I think. I actually now I'm following the Knicks. Let's see what's on the Knicks here. Oh no.
You know, you could actually update it too. Our last picture is of Kylo Quinn.
How do we even find it?
I don't know. It's NY Knicks podcast on Instagram.
No, I'm trying to find Okay, let me find
Trying to find what?
But the pictures you have up here. I see pictures of Mello and Shumpert. This is not us.
No, that is not us. NY Knicks podcast.
It says, it's N. What could I find? I found Knicks podcast.
No, it's NY Knicks podcast.
But the Knicks podcast has our symbol.
What do you mean? They have our actual logo?
Go to Knicks podcast.
Knicks podcast on Instagram.
Go to Knicks podcast. Yes, the symbol looks a lot like the symbol that we use. Our old symbol.
Oh, wow. It is our old symbol. They stole it.
They stole their old symbol.
Are you goddamn serious?
Well, there's only, to be fair, there's 19 posts and 13 followers. And I'm one of the followers.
But they literally stole our logo.
Yeah, our logo was basically just a copyrighted takeoff of the Knicks logo. But it just said it was NYP. It's literally the logo we had. Is this one of the people from the show that listens to the show? You take our photo and make a Knicks podcast.
You know what? I would say something, but they haven't updated in 129 weeks. So
that's why I was confused.
Wow. Somebody tried to steal our logo.
I mean, they didn't try. They did.
They did, but I mean, then they decided to quit, so that's fine. If they were still posting, I would yell at them, but
that's really weird.
That is a little shady. Well,
also, I found a site where they have pictures of Jay's mom. It's Instagram, but it's not Jay's mom.
They stole the image of my mom.
I'm trying to find Brink of Sanity.
The Brink of Sanity on Instagram.
The Brink of Sanity. Okay, let's see what we have on here. Which is also not even this show. Am I following it? I'm following this already. So we have picture of.
Okay, we got a comment on Instagram.
What's the picture of here? I don't understand. Is it a traffic accident?
What are you talking about? Yeah. The street was flooded in New York.
Oh, that's goddamn fascinating. Then you posted my kid's thing on his wall. You posted.
This is Brink. This is not the Knicks.
I understand that you posted a sunset. How romantic, Jay. You posted I guess you're staring at people playing music. Jay, what's going on Knicks podcast? On Knicks podcast Instagram. Are there questions?
It's just
Snapchat. What about Knicks Snapchat?
It's just Elite Kick Super Saiyan saying update your goddamn Instagram.
Okay. Knicks PornTube. What's going on there?
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back in 2 weeks. The Brink of Sanity will be recorded this Thursday, and it's going to be hilarious. So listen to that.
And you get your money back if it's not hilarious.
Right. You get all your every cent you put into listening to this podcast, you will get fully refunded if it's not the funniest podcast you've ever listened to.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. You better go away.
I'm gonna leave you.
It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone.
Feels so good to say goodbye.
I'm sick and tired and I'm
You know,
Sorry.
Hmm?
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say I literally started drinking 9.5 hours ago, and it's not easy to do a show like that.
I like how each week you have a different obstacle during the show. Last week is that the thing didn't work, so you had to like try to fix the entire show. This week you're like, I'm gonna drink for 10 hours prior to the show and see how it goes.
It's like, you know what, this week everything's working fine, so I'm just going to completely screw it up.
What are you gonna do next week? You're like, next week I'm gonna try to lose my voice for the show.
Next week I'm just going to freebase coke off a hooker during the show.
Study reveals what the world would look like if humans never existed. So this I fucking love science thing. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's completely idiotic.
Do you know that the owner of that page was in my class last semester?
You told me that before.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Your
gonna stop
brain on
recording
porn. What does pornography do to your brain?
now. Makes it happy.
Yeah, I think so.
My brain goes wee.